All right, I'm John M. Bennett. This thing is not working, I assume. So let's get rid of it.
No, it's working, John.
It's working, is it?
Yes.
Chud sky. Sprawling nostril. The cheese doodle dangling out a groaning lake above your pants. Blinking sky. Cloud oozing down a hill. The AJ nestled in your rag. The mucus hog gleaming in your basement. It's the horizon's glutter. It's the dripping gate. Hack a big one, little John. Your ruder foot's shriveled. Thirsts. Ese o aquel ha hecho algo interesante, puesto que ahora muere. Siete Vallejo. Lumpy throat, nuts and legs, his foaming tailbone, a dog clock grinning on the wall. Replace your teeth with ice cubes. Why, the pool creature furls a aphis cluster on that hairless arm flaccid in your lap. Oh, the whispering towels. Oh, les cadavres jetés à la mer. Evaporated. Dans un coin du miroir de Vicente, un conejo se muere y me muerdo la mano. Sabor o sardine. Una cacada donde mis pasos se alejan. Y hay un morceau de taco en boca del ratón de mi máquina de escribir. La fonétique maçonna, placer du plaisir funéraire. Sin pene, sueño del guacamole. Je cache un souvenir, Vicente Vidogro. Dacent. Sin fecto. Pusilecta la carachomba so ates the quivering lunch and outer heel claw. Resticulo shirt, a dancing one, after meal, your wandering dog leg tousled, coughing off the red sores, said to you, lo espolvado, or that cabbage growing in your lung. Fly downtown, the hamsters stream beneath the bridge. Les bêtes lui mentent. Venez, chat. Liker. Mate the corn, louder, dank, lurks shiner on the basement steps. Or shower walls. Tripas y focos. Gray soup drying in the kitchen, en tus calzoncillos, un hueso de aguacate y una hormiga. I was spitting on my suit, the poem of days. It was wispy, like the fried phonetics sticking to my mirror. Were flies? I sneezed. The nude. Au centre du visage, René Char. Archaic vista. Lose your immense skin, Oh, napless. Waffles skid beneath the chairs, their moon faces rush around Uranus, dizzy utterance straining with cosmetics, with sea brine, sick and dumb in the circled forks, the chalky dust, the silence, boom, the flooded stairs, boom, the ditches steam with human offal like a pot of chili shines forever, the stairways infested with fruit flies, nipples line the walls. Wiping my face in Ivan Arguelles' Soul, and the Beauty Contest. Rapto. Gash luminas. The flinging pole, upper ham e brasso, deepened in my boil, your ash trestles severed log across the basement donde? Bulimia, your corn dog floater on the splash. Lost his face in towel. My dogged rash, who outside the tools, ashes rusting in afternoon. Pusilánime me olvidé, José María Arguelles. Uno más, the frog. Putz, gore, the trouble time, the gape, sorpilotea, soppy with your drool, ace, clown, crowd, sobby one, flactor sound of shipping born. My tool fate, raisins stuck inside your shoe and honey linked. Shuts door, your rubble dime, furry with rust. Swallow your watch and cough it up. Loss of ants. Thank you.
I have just one more poem here. The Folly of Donna Estalia's Soup. This is a collection of 13 wrens. Not to be confused. Wren poem is not to be confused with poetry forms that start with ran, such as ren gay or ren coo, nor with its phonetic twin, bird, wren. A pair of wings crumpled up in osteosporosis, so wren. Monkeys hang down to the kneecaps, times 4 feels wren. Fingers spin yarn from decimals, quen, ren. Dewey plays keno for osteosporosis, oh, ren. Chemo twins go stale with husbandry, looking at wren. They say Julio kissing my Kalia over the wren. Church pews full of osteosporosis slumped down into wren. Here's to Dahlia Galia, beauty's bounty of wren. Where's the folly of Donna Estalia's soup in a wren? Why shed tears for osteosporosis, my Julio? Wren. Donna Estalia, why is my Julio kissing your wren? Shane Ophelia, Dewey Estalia, stop at this. Wren. Give me Dada Ocalia, you ate all my wren bones soup. Wren.
The inimitable Bennett is approaching the stage.
Am I supposed to be performing?
Well, you start, then you go come in. Or you could stand there and just look at the people.
Hey. I feel really uncomfortable. I don't have anything to do.
So sit down and play the goddamn thing.
I love honesty. Can you hear me? No. Yeah? No. Oh, hey. Oh,
How did it get off?
I don't know.
Kathy, did you put an off button off?
I don't know how to do it.
Boy, this is real.
Hey, Tom.
This is real technology. This is why I always say we how far we've come, how far back we've come. Oh, Kathy, turn the mic off. Okay.
Okay.
It's off? On? On.
Yes.
Get closer.
Oh, it's on?
Yes.
Closer to the
Closer.
mic.
Yes, it's on.
There you go.
Yes.
I feel very elemental. I love this garden. So I read some very simple elemental poems from the collection called Elements. First, air. I try to be something stationary, like the air in a capped bottle placed on a table. I stand still, not to vibrate, the core of my senses. Try not to react to the world outside my view. In a stationary objectivity, I see a woman cook rice and fish, a man hammering a nail, a bee buzzing, a floor, walls, and a ceiling become a new tactile reality as I ignore my heartbeat and its rhyming rhythm. Suddenly, as if thrown out from nowhere to nowhere, I long for the image of a pre-dawn pasture. That's air. Water. I swallow a compelling amount of water when I first learned to swim. Since then, water strips the facade of my fear to the core. Whenever I face it, like any illogical irony,
It melts me down to the utmost comfort when I'm in it. The ecstasy it provides always seems like it will last forever. In order to avoid a startling splash on my face, I do not crawl on the water, I float on it. Although I have become such an exceptionally good swimmer over the years. I am 90% water, and I slept in it for 9 months before the moon proved the tide. Tonight, the moon is a pool of water, and I miss my parents and my home. Earth, dirt. I do not think of death when I think of earth, dirt. I think of life, death. In fall, trees stretching out to the sky, drop leaves and they become earth, dirt. Don't bring in the dirt, someone yells. When I was small, my father wrote a poem about me, making a mud pie squatting. He was much younger then than I am now. I must have made a pie mixing earth, dirt with water. Out of earth's dirt, life springs. Every spring, I smell my own skin to smell the earth, to remember the accumulated memories that I have forgotten. In order to walk on the right path, I lay myself down on earth, dirt, to look up and to float in the air. Occasionally, I even put it into my mouth to taste it. Fire. That was a poem for my father. This one is for my mother. Fire. Since my mother's advanced fitness picked brown rather than red for the color of my school bag when I was very young, telling me red did not represent femininity alone. Color red has become a primal source of my emotional anxiety all my life. Red means fire to me rather than blood. And the fire symbolizes tragedy and melancholy in the maximum sense. For no particular reason, I dream a lot of images relating to fire. Like a typical war scene with heavy explosions, burning houses, a prairie fire, fireflies, a fire drill, a fire-eating magician, open fire barbecue, a fire ladder, firecrackers, a firewater, firewood, a fiery squad, as in Goya's painting. I never dream of a candlelight, although it is fire in essence. I wonder why we use the word light rather than fire in describing a candlelight. When man first learned how to make a fire, he must have realized he finally succeeded in betraying himself. Maybe he must have created a self-reflected image of God then. I once saw a friend of ours making fire in the so-called primitive way, rubbing pieces of wood together on her living room floor while her husband was talking on the phone and her daughter was jumping around from the windowsill to the table. The burning smell of pine occupied the light-filled room. I was mesmerized, fascinated, and terrified with the experience. She kept saying, "It's not that easy. It's not easy. You really have to work very hard." I cook food with fire as original men did, although I do not have to make one. Recently, I have finally learned to thank my mother, the first person to make me meditate deeply on the impressions of the color red. In the club we hung out at night, I often let myself be taken over by the firewall of a small candlelight while listening to music. But even at the height of selfness, fire and blood never mix in my world. Fire is closer to air than blood. It climbs upward. To me, fire is more about the yearning than about the desire. It is alkaloid, it is light, it is Apollonian in context. It is more like a lake than an ocean. It is an apple, it is a door. Then we're coming back here. Return. A basket full of oranges waits for return. Oh, a girl embracing a bundle of dry wheat smiles at us on the way home. Music always tells us the closest truth, like good painting and a loving poem.
Yuko Otomo,
Yes.
Kathy Bennett, John Bennett, Ben Bennett. You a little happier now? Hey, it's a little happier now. Okay. Here we go. Oh, Camelot. Accursed Camelot. Moonless, hazy midnight haze. Like Willie, shoeless in front of the church. Homeless, all your own taken in the shelter. Moonless afternoon. God bless you and your family, winged angel. Camelot, cursed. America, the colonized country. The chains of Europa still binding. Willie listening to the last of his voice, asking and begging. Please, please, I am a colonized country. Have only one leg to stand on. Colonized country, nurtured by blackguards and bootleggers who only wanted to emulate those they broke free of. There's nothing better than being at the center, descending like a hard rock into a perilous sea, forging onward, forging a life while making copy after copy of the ideals of others, somewhere between the red zone and the museum. The peach tree is still the peach tree. The kiwi, remote and flightless, still blindly forages for grubs on a hazy, moonless night with only its keen sense of smell to guide it. High or low, energy ebbs and flows, a water of little choice, to and from the port. The ride made easier somehow by the faces tattooed to the windows. Willie is out there somewhere, carrying his library through Camelot, cursed and colonized and free. I cover my eyes to protect them from his stare. I cover my ass to protect it from the piper. Such false hope. I expend 70% of my energy worrying about the other guy, 30% wondering why. Time is borrowed, and the mortgage payments are endless. The wise doctor extracted payments from his patients in the form of their talent. Then they died or were abandoned. Here, have another painting, Willie. Thank you, Willie. But I think I'll take your shoes instead, Willie. Or perhaps I'll take your other leg. It's a nice day for table turning. It's a fine afternoon to argue over a seat. We rely too much on the luck of others. He talks to himself, a dry-brained, mouthy word machine. Rubs the silver residue from the numbers to see if he is won. $50, that ain't even enough to find a happy birthday. That's it, a happy birthday. 8:05, 3, whatever it is, it's a constant mumble. Number 1, 3 again, too low, 8 for me, and here it's First Avenue, 5, inarticulate. I could still have the 3rd Avenue bus to get me where I gotta go. It's a living life, very old foreign accents. He's busy seeking his fortune, so he totally misses his stop. Long line. You can get off here. Take a number 1 to a number 6 or an A or an E or a C or an F at West 4th. These aren't numbers, but they work just the same. Fortunes made and lost. Particles smashed together and separated, circling each other like dueling swordsmen or lovers or flocks of lost birds. More long lines. We are given a perfect blend of city and country, stone, blood, concrete, and space. Where it all began, space, the essential world, but both real and imagined, a blank slate, invoked ersatz and computer imaging. The picture we all see. The result of this bombardment is just reenactment, happening precisely while the real thing is or isn't happening. A sign on a store on a once fish-stained, smelly Chinatown street says warm, says hippies welcome, says look for the charm of decay elsewhere. Now he only talks to birds and counts the spoons, breaks twigs in his mind, and waits for his number to hit. He dreams of new physics, his memory muscle remembering little. He awakens under pressure, dismisses the event as a disaster, a new Eden that can never be, just more media hype. The long line, an eruption of interruptions, an endless ellipsis, a song eclipse, reading the melody upside down and backward, and we are left with a short line that sounds too much like the original. Say number 6, number 7. The original had only 3, the last in the order, even though there are still 7 parts. Be it even though he keeps on scraping and scraping and scratching and scratching and scraping. For how long will this go on? scratching and scraping and mumbling short sentences and long lines, all waiting for the media to watch as the wonders begin. An omniverse, a multiverse within a supersymmetry, an elucidated, secretly overweight universe. Overweight women discussing their dating habits over hamburgers. The long line enters again. Wish, risk. A back list of sales reps. Fabiola nobodies, in-depth at tomfoolery. Expanding warehouse precedentals. New equipment and backward promotions, and the lovers of death. The lovers of the death machine at loss for words. The thing is, the things which are least important to our survival are the things that make us human. The thing is, the things which are least important to our survival are the things that make us human. Art and science colliding. Science of art, the art of science. Do the math, it's all there. Scratch, scratch, scratch head 7, 5, 13, 22, long only as the wind dreams, the wind dreams, the universe reverses rhythms, at least important to all our things that make us human. The long line eclipses a place to inhabit, visit, able as we are not 400 years of symmetry, 400 years of slavery. The Blakean theory of the universe. Multiverse. Fearful supersymmetry. Beams. Autoclobbering. Proposal Atlas high collision energy. Dream. Poetry and the possibility of sensual sex. Dream of physics. Taking physics. Rumble of the bus tires. Idling of the engine. Vibration of the shocks. Motionless stoplight. Bumpy ride. Circling and 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 finally colliding. Pudding just for you. High priest of the good ear. Tanned and tainted. Complimentary speak lady, mute on the numbers, mute on the numbers, mute on electron, neutron. To hold or behold, he scratches and scratches and scratches and scratches and scratches and scrapes 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 and he scratches and he scratches and he scratches and he scratches and he rubs 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 and the numbers and the numbers and the numbers and the numbers and then the collision. But it's not 115 for supersymmetry, and it's not 140 for multiverse, but somewhere in between, like a 126.5 or a 125.6. So there might be a continuation of something somewhere out there, or a falling apart. And I say very calmly, I say very calmly that the fix is in. The fix is in. A few more years of experimentation that will tell us where the beginning ends and the ending begins. And the God particle, the goddamn fucking God particle is still somewhat elusive. Adida, Amira, Adida, Amira, Adida, Amira, Adida, Amira, Adida, Amira, Adida, Amira, Adida, Amira. Right there, right there, right there, right there. right there, and it's a warm February night, and it's right there, it's right there, it's right there, the right there, it's right there, it's right there, it's right there, it's right there. The assimilation of different styles, the absorption of different solar systems, and the realization between the realization that he's one very little, his head suddenly slumping into his knees, nothing, he's one nothing, 1, 3 birthdays, 8, 1st Avenue, 3rd Avenue, 6th Avenue, missed chances, missed stops, the wrong bus, Lexington Avenue. The Higgs cups. He's got the Higgs cups. The Higgs cups, the goddamn fucking God particle that keeps our lives together, that tears our lives apart. A disabled wheelchair, a brief pause, this airs out motionless priority of property. You must give up, I tell him. He looks, and he scratches, and he scratches, and he scrapes, and he scratches. Whatever, he replies. It's the red hand of gosh, I tell him. I almost scream. Whatever. It's right there. I point nowhere. It's right there. I point nowhere. Whatever. He looks. He scratches. He scrapes. Give up, I tell him in a loud whimper. Give up. He gets up. Whatever, he mumbles. Whatever, he mumbly whimpers. Whatever, he mumbly bumbly whimpers. Get up, it's right there, I say. He bumbles, he scratches, he scrapes. So far, so good. He deciphers all that gray matter, all that goddamn God particle gray matter, that gray stuff, all those gray particles, gray dust, gray ghosts, all those numbers, collisions. Where do they go? Where do they all end up? Wrong stop. You'll have to get off here and walk a bit. Have a good day, I say. Have a good day, I say. I'm getting off right here. The crossfire of an avalanche, a cavalcade of transitional numbers. And though his atoms have been split time and time again, he still cannot find the center of his being. Where is form when we need it most? Or at least a semblance of form. I exit first. A long line. Wait, I say, but don't wait. There's a 1 to 6, or A, or E, or C, or B, or F, or D, and it all still equals 21, and you'll win no matter what. You'll win no matter what. And then I look at him very calmly, and I say, what color is tonight? And then the God particle looks at me very nervously and asks, what color is tonight? Turn the paper upside down, I answer, and maybe you'll find out. Ben Bennett. John M. Bennett. C. Mehrl Bennett. Yuko Otomo. He's still not smiling. I got him smiling.